how many of these space heaters, even for emergency situations, can you plug into a circuit in your house? Just one. And I'm telling you that right now, just one. There's no point in sending this video out any further. I'll tell you right now, just one. 12.5 amps is what this heater pulls. Okay? Standard receptacles, even the latest and greatest technology from Leviton, are rated for 15 amps. So 12.5, basically, you're going to have a daisy chain of wire going from room to room to receptacle to receptacle to receptacle, okay? You might have more than 3 rooms on one circuit. So how do you know how many you can put into your house total? Will depend on how many circuits you have. Now understand this. There's a reason why mine is still in a box. I have not opened mine. Mine is for emergency situations only. This thing will wreak havoc on your existing electrical wire system. 12.5 amps all night, or whatever you want to call it, is a massive load to be putting on an existing electrical wiring system that has not seen that kind of load in years. If I was going to use this for more than a couple of hours, it'd be very wise for me to run a dedicated separate circuit for this than to put this onto my existing electrical wiring system. This is going to damage my existing infrastructure in my walls. There's no doubt about it. Now, emergency situations, you got to do what you got to do. Usually, these are your options. First, we got to talk about what's in your wall. So in your wall, this would be the best material possible that your house would see in the United States. Would be number 12, rated for 60 degrees Celsius, Romex. Okay. When we talk about electrical failures and the wire getting hot and all that stuff, we're not talking about the wire itself. Well, it is the wire, but the threat is the insulation when it melts, and then everything makes contact with each other, and now you're in a world of trouble. The more that your wire heats up, the more damage gets done to your insulation. Understand that. And look how close everything is together. And guess what? We also decided to add fuel to it. We put paper in it. That's not even a joke. There's paper in there. What were they thinking? We'll never know. Okay, these are your 3 options. Option 1, your breaker is going to trip. So the whole time that your breaker needs to trip, that wire is heating up enough to do damage, permanent damage, to your insulation until the breaker trips. A lot of people, this will go on for years. Okay, maybe not with the space heater. This will do very quick damage to your house. Talking about long-term stuff, overloading a circuit unintentionally, just natural things. Nothing super aggressive very quickly. Just over time, breaker trips, you don't think about anything about it. Turn the breaker back on. It goes on for a couple of weeks and the breaker trips and you turn it back on. Okay. That's very common. I see that all the time. This, you're going to know you have a problem as soon as the breaker trips. Okay. What you don't want to do is go turn that breaker back on. You got lucky. So number 1 would be the breaker trips. Number 2, the wire is going to get so hot that it's going to physically disconnect itself and no longer pull the load. Okay. This is actually a good thing. You see this where the receptacles, half of them work in a room, half of them don't. You jiggle one receptacle and now they all work. Or depending on the time of day, the temperature outside, or you might not know this, but depending on what the circuit is doing, if somebody's running the vacuum for a little bit, lights might turn off or something. Turn the vacuum off, circuit cools down, wire moves inside your wall, and everything reconnects itself. Now we're good again until you run the vacuum or until you pull more load in the house. Something like that, okay? That's option 2. Option 3 is that none of the first 2 happened. The wire did not get so hot that nothing actually disconnected itself. You had really good connections and you just had insulation damage and you had an old breaker didn't trip. Now you got a fire, okay? I don't usually use the word as an electrical inspector. Don't use the word fire here on YouTube. Not going to BS you guys. You're going to have a fire. These, you will wake up without a house. You plug in more than one of these into one circuit, you're going to have issues, I promise you. So you're going to take your wattage divided by your voltage. That's going to give you your amperage. Go around your house, flip on and off breakers, figure out how many circuits you have in between what rooms, figure out what family member is going to wind up with the heat. All huddle in a room if you have to. Remember, it's for emergency situations only. Mine is not open because I'm not plugging this thing into my house. This is going to do damage to my existing wiring. This is for my generator. Now let's talk about generators real quick. Extension cords, okay? You want 12 gauge extension cords. I really don't recommend you run extension cords to anything ever, but you have to use at least 12 gauge extension cords because by the time you figure the length and everything, you are going to have some issues if you're trying to run these on extension cords. I'd just say don't, but at the end of the day, it's cold outside. You got to do what you got to do to protect your family. I get it. That's why I'm making this video at 11:30 at night. I've been sick. I haven't really been able to make videos. And as soon as I felt good enough to, here's your video. And it's very important for you guys to know, especially with what's going on around the US right now. It's very cold. So let's look at my generator setup and yeah. Okay, this is my generator cord. It's a proper cord. It's a listed cord, 25 feet. There it is there. The cord is long enough to reach my generator. Cord plugs in there. This is dual fuel, so I've got propane or gas. It's also got a 120 volt receptacle there, GFCI. That yellow cord plugs in here and it goes to this backfed breaker. Now you'll notice I can't turn on this backfed breaker without turning off my main. So you turn off the main. Now this can slide up. Now the generator breaker can turn on and the main is off. That's called an interlock. Don't install one of these without installing one of these. It's very simple. So, can't turn the main on. Turn the generator off. This is going to drop down. Now we can turn the main back on. Stops you from meeting utility with emergency power. So basically, get you one of these for the whole house. Get all your family members in one room and be safe out there. Be aware of what you guys are plugging in. Be aware of what's still plugged in. With your generator running, make sure you're not going to overload that. There's a lot of things that can happen in emergency situations that you're just not aware of. You thought, oh, well, I had a generator, I had extension cords. What went wrong? You overloaded the circuit, possibly. Something like that. Breakers start tripping. Really, really pay attention to what you guys are plugging in out there. I know it's cold. I'm cold right now. I'm going to get back in there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one.